Introducing My Group Mix.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to Madam Fatihah binti Abdul Rahman, our lecturer for Introduction to Law subject, and also to the audience. My name is Atiqah Firzanah binti Rashidi. My metric number is DIL 211002. Our topic for this group assignment is Public Prosecutor. We are from Group 2, consists of 4 members. NORINA binti AFFANDY. She will be presenting on definition, requirement, example, which is Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Abdul Ghani bin Patail, and cases. Public prosecutor against Datuk Sri Haji ANUAR bin Ibrahim. Sodomy 2. Victim Muhammad Saiful Bukhari bin Azlan. Next, Muhammad Ashraf HAZIQ ZIKRY bin ANUAR. He will be presenting on acknowledgement, types, and conclusion. Next, Muhammad HAIKAL bin ARIFFIN. He will be presenting on statutes, example, which is Tan Sri Datuk Sri Mohtar bin Abdullah, and cases. Public prosecutor against Datuk Sri Haji ANUAR bin Ibrahim. Sodomy 1. Victim Azizan bin Abu Bakar. I'll be presenting on introduction, job scopes, example, which is Tan Sri Muhammad Affandi Ali. Cases. Public prosecutor against Azmi bin Sharom. Assalamualaikum. My name is Atiqah Firzanah binti Rashidi. My metric number is DIL 211002. I'll be presenting introduction. The Attorney General's duty is to advise the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, the Cabinet, or any minister on any legal matter, and to perform such other legal duties as may be referred to or assigned to him by Yang di-Pertuan Agong or the Cabinet from time to time, as well as to perform the functions assigned to it by or under this Constitution or any other written law. In Malaysia, the Attorney General is in charge of all criminal cases, other than matters governed by Sharia courts, Bumiputra courts, or courts martial. The Attorney General or AG has the authority to begin, conduct, or abandon any criminal law proceedings under Articles 145 subsection 3 of the Federal Constitution. This means that the Attorney General determines whether or not a crime should be prosecuted, as well as the applicable criminal legislation. This authority also extends to criminal proceedings. CPC. The Attorney General is the government's public prosecutor under Section 376 subsection 1, and he has power and direction over criminal prosecution and processes under the CPC. The Attorney General also has the authority to select deputy public prosecutors who are in charge of prosecuting criminals in courts across the country and proving their cases. As a member of the Pardons Board in each state of Malaysia, the Attorney General is responsible for determining whether a criminal can receive a royal pardon from the sultans in question. To carry out their task, the AG and DPP have a lot of flexibility in considering whether or not they prosecute a person, as well as the power to enforce laws that are appropriate for the crime committed. Furthermore, the Attorney General has the authority to prosecute criminals in any court. This is due to the fact that judges in Malaysia's lower courts are limited in the sentences they can impose on people who are found guilty. According to Section 87 of Subordinate Courts Act 1948, a first-class magistrate's court can only issue a sentence of up to 5 years in prison or a fine of up to 10,000 ringgit. The High Court, on the other hand, is authorized by the Section 22 of the Courts of Justice Act 1964 to impose any punishment allowed by law. So, if the Attorney General wants to pursue a high-profile death penalty case, the case will be sent to the High Court rather than the magistrate's court, and vice versa for less serious cases.
Hi, my name is NORINA binti AFFANDY and my metro number is DIL211019. In this presentation, I will explain to you about the definition of public prosecutor. So, what is public prosecutor and what's its function? Basically, the Attorney General of Malaysia, or in Malay we call Peguam Negara, also referred to AG, is the principal legal advisor in Malaysia. The Attorney General is also highest ranking public prosecutor in the country, is also known as the public prosecutor or simply as PP. So in this slide, we can see it shown the public prosecutor are public figures who on behalf of society and in the public interest ensure that the law is followed when a violation of law results in criminal penalty, taking into account both of the rights of individual and the need for the criminal justice system to function effectively. So this is additional information. In some nations, a public prosecutor is a government official who prosecute a person on behalf of the country's government or citizen. For example, in the United States, a public prosecutor is a government official responsible to investigating and prosecuting criminal offences on behalf of the state or an international commissions. So I will pass to the next presenter, which is ASYRAFF HAZIQ ZIKRY. So in this part, I will explain about types. In Malaysia, we have two types of prosecutor, which is public prosecutor and deputy public prosecutor. So first, public prosecutor. I will explain about that. Okay. In this slide, we can see the major responsibility of the public prosecutor is to investigate criminal cases. In Malaysia, it is also the Attorney General who is in command of this. In the Article 145, it states that any procedure for a crime other than proceeding before a Sharia court, a native court, or a court martial, it shall be instituted, conducted, or discontinued at the discretion of the Attorney General. So the second type is deputy public prosecutor. The Attorney General appoints the deputy public prosecutor to carry out prosecutorial and other tasks in criminal cases. They represent PP in criminal hearings and proceedings, as well as other matters such as disposition and coroner's inquiry. So the question is, what is the role of deputy public prosecutor, or we can call it as DPP. So basically, DPP are also able to appear in criminal appeals and criminal references on a matter of law on behalf of the public prosecutor. Second is DPP also can give agreement, sanction or authorization for an offence to be tried before a court or tribunal. Lastly, this is an additional information. There are 24 DPP in each state of Malaysia. So in Sarawak, Sabah, Selangor, Johor, Perak, Negeri Sembilan, Kedah, Kelantan, Melaka and KL, we only have 2 DPP in each that state, while Terengganu, Pahang, Penang and Perlis, we only have 1 DPP in each that state.
Number 2, Federal Constitution Article 145. Number 1, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong shall, on the advice of the Prime Minister, appoint a person who is qualified to be a judge of the Federal Court to be the Attorney General for the Federation. Number 2, it shall be the duty of the Attorney General to advise the Yang di-Pertuan Agong or the Cabinet or any minister upon such legal matters, and to perform such other duties of a legal character as may from time to time to be referred or assigned to him by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong or the Cabinet, and to discharge the function conferred on him by or under this Constitution or any other written law. Number 3, the Attorney General shall have power accessible at his direction to institute, conduct or discontinue any proceeding for an offence other than proceeding before a Sharia court a native court, or a court martial. Number 3A, federal law may confer to the Attorney General power to determine the court in which or the venue at which any proceeding which he has a power under Clause 3 to institute shall be instituted, or to which such proceeding shall be transferred. Number 4. In the performance of his duties, the Attorney General shall have the right of audience in and shall take the precedence over any other person appearing before any court or tribunal in the Federation. Number 5. Subject to Clause 6, the Attorney General shall hold office during the pleasure of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and may at any time resign his office, and unless he is a member of the cabinet, shall receive such a remuneration as the Yang di-Pertuan Agong may determine. Number 6. The person holding the office of Attorney General immediately before the coming into operation of this article shall continue to hold the office on terms and conditions not less favourable than those applicable to him immediately before such coming into operation, and shall not remove from the office except on the like ground and in the like manner as a judge of the federal court. Thank you.
So next is requirement. If you have good grades in SPM, especially for these two subjects, which is history and English, maybe law is suits for you. And if you didn't pass, you didn't score in these two subjects, you should have 5 C's in SPM and minimum C's for BM, which is Bahasa Melayu. Next is for A-level and STPM. These are recommended subjects for you to take law course. So here you have 5 subjects, which is mathematics, economics, law, English literature and accounting. This is additional information that law requires you to have a good command of language in both English and Malay, so make sure you're comfortable speaking and writing in both language. For diploma in law requirement, these are general entry requirement at any universities, which is you should have 3 C's in SPM. For law degree requirement, to pursue degree in law, you need to complete a pre-university program. So what is pre-university program? So basically, pre-university program is a preparatory course for students who have completed their SPM and O-level. It equips you with the right knowledge and learning skill so that you will be able to handle the challenges. So after complete a pre-university program, these are the entry requirements that you should pass, which is for A-level, you should have minimum of 2 A's. STPM, you should have minimum of 2 C's. Foundation in law, art or science, you should have CGPA minimum 2.00. And also same for diploma, minimum CGPA is 2.00 and you should have MUHAMAMD band 4. So after law degree is CLP Malaysia requirement. So if your Bachelor of Laws does not include a professional year, you will need to complete a professional law exam called Certificate in Legal Practice, which is CLP, to qualify as an advocate and syndicated in Malaysia, to practice as a lawyer in Malaysia. This is professional law exam is conducted by the Legal Profession Qualifying Board of Malaysia. To qualify the CLP exam, you need to meet the following requirement, which is 3C in SPM, 2E in A-level and 2C in STPM. And lastly, recognize 3-year law degree which passes 6 core subjects and graduated within 6 years of initial registration with the university. So lastly, our federal constitution established the position of Attorney General, and you may be upset to learn that it is not open for applicants. You must be chosen by YDPA on the suggestion of the Prime Minister to become the Attorney General. However, in order to consider in the first place, you must be a Malaysian Federal Court judge, which is the highest ranking court. To become a Federal Court judge, you, a person, must meet the following requirements as stated in Article 123 of the Federal Constitution, which is be a Malaysian citizen and have been a lawyer handling case in the Superior Courts of Malaysia, or been a member of Malaysian Judicial and Legal Service for past 10 years. To sum up, it's depending on your selected education pathway. It will take around 5.5 to 7 years for you to become a qualified lawyer.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Atiqah Firzanah binti Rashidi. My metric number is DIL 211002. I'll be presenting job scopes. Federal Constitution, Part X, Public Services. The Attorney General is the government's primary legal advisor. Article 145 of the Federal Constitution outlines his job and responsibilities. The following are the responsibilities of the public prosecutors. First, to look into cases that have been submitted by the police, those that involve complaints or accusations that have been directly filed with public prosecutors, and those that have been discovered by public prosecutors. Second, to determine whether or not they should be prosecuted in court. Situations that can be prosecuted, public prosecutors have the ability to not prosecute cases, suspension of prosecution, etc. Due to the seriousness of the offences and numerous conditions where there is a sufficient evidence to obtain a conviction. 4. To prove cases brought to trial and request the court for proper judgments. 5. To supervise the execution of judgments. 6. To conduct administrative tasks as prescribed by law as a representative of the public interest. Assalamualaikum. My name is Atiqah Firzanah binti Rashidi. My metric number is DIL 211002. I'll be presenting on example Tan Sri Muhammad Affandi bin Ali. Personal life. Affandi is married to Puan Sri Farida Begum Abdul Kadir. He has 7 children. He is a United Malays Nation Organization UMNO member from 1982 to 1991. Affandi was even picked by UMNO as the Barisan Nasional BN candidate to contest the Pengkalan Cepa parliamentary seat in 1990 general election, but he was defeated by the Pan-Malaysian Islamic Party PAS candidate. He rejoined back UMNO in 2019. Career. He began his legal career as a magistrate at the Magistrates Court, Kuala Terengganu in 1973. In 1975, he was appointed as the Director of the Legal Aid Bureau in Kota Baru, Kelantan. He later held the position of Deputy Public Prosecutor for Kelantan and Terengganu from 1977 to 1980. Affandi was appointed as the legal advisor to the Ministry of Industry and Trade in 1980 before setting up his firm in 1982. In 2003, Affandi once again entered civil service, starting as a judicial commissioner in Kuantan High Court before being confirmed as a judge on 21st December 2004. He was then sent to the High Court of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur on 15 February 2007. On 14 April 2010, he was appointed as a judge of the Court of Appeal Putrajaya, and on 13 September 2013, he was elevated as a judge of the Federal Court. He was appointed as the Attorney General of Malaysia on 27 July 2015 after the termination of Abdul Ghani Patail. Assalamualaikum. My name is Atiqah Firzanah binti Rashidi. My metric number is DIL 211002. I'll be presenting on summary case. Azmi bin Sharum, a law professor at the University Malaya, was accused of committing sedition and was charged on September 2, 2014 for his remarks on an online news article. Sharum challenged the court over the constitutionality of the Sedition Act because it is from colonial era. The court later delivered a decision considered as the landmark verdict that the law was constitutional. The Attorney General decided to drop the charges against Sharum on February 12, 2016.
So next, I will explain about our second PP in Malaysia, which is Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Abdul Ghani bin Patah. So who is Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Abdul Ghani bin Patah? He is born on 6 October of 1955. Is a Malaysian prosecutor. He was the Attorney General of Malaysia from 2002 to 2015. The first from Sabah hold the position, which is hailing from Lahad Datu and was born in Lahad Datu district. Abdul Ghani was the lead prosecutor in former Deputy Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's sodomy trial of 1998. Now we look at his personal life. Abdul Ghani is married to Maimun Datuk Haji Arif. Next is his education. He is graduated with a Bachelor of Laws Honors degree from the University of Malaya in 1979. Next is his career. He began his legal career from the following year as a Deputy Public Prosecutor in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. In 1985, he was promoted to Senior Federal Counsel from Sabah. In January 1994, Abdul Ghani moved to the Attorney General's chamber in Kuala Lumpur. There he was appointed head of the Prosecution Division 1994 and again in 2000. Head of the Advisory and International Division in 1995 and Commissioner of Law Revision in 1997. On 1st January in 2002, he was appointed as the Attorney General of Malaysia. Abdul Ghani's tenure as Attorney General ended in 2015 when the Chief Secretary to the government announced that he had stepped down due to health reasons. The announcement was abrupt and Patah himself was unaware of the decision to have him removed from his post. Before this, he was head of a multi-agency task force investigating claims of misappropriation of funds illegally involving Prime Minister, which is Najib Razak. So in this slide, we can see the case that he has been handled, which is public prosecutor against Anwar Ibrahim. The victim was Muhammad Saiful Bukhari Azlan. Kuala Lumpur, the Federal Court upheld 5-year prison sentence on opposition leader Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. The decision was delivered at 2:05 p.m. this afternoon. The Federal Court found that Anwar guilty of sodomizing Muhammad Saiful Bukhari Azlan 6 years ago, which is his former aide. The decision was delivered by Chief Justice, which is Tun ARIFFIN Zakaria, who led a panel of 5 Federal Court judges after reading out decision for almost 2 hours. Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Abdul Ghani bin Patah, who is the Attorney General, led the prosecution team in the appeal. He was assisted by Deputy Public Prosecutor, which is Datuk Muhammad Hanafiah Zakaria. Anwar was represented by a team of 15 lawyers. This is the second sodomy case against Anwar. At the end of the case, Anwar was released on September 2 in 2004 after a federal court held by Justice Tun Abdul Habib Muhammad, who later became Chief Justice, reversed his conviction and set aside his prison sentence on sodomy charges after he spent nearly 6 years in prison for corruption.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm Muhammad Haikal bin ARIFFIN. My number matric DL 211023, and today I will be presenting the example Tan Sri Datuk Sri Mokhtar bin Abdullah. Tan Sri Datuk Sri Mokhtar bin Abdullah studied at the University of Singapore. He is married to Puan Sri Saleha Zuko. He entered the judicial and legal service in 1971. He served as a judge on the High Court from 1990 to 1994 before being appointed Attorney General. After his tenure as Attorney General, he was appointed to the Federal Court in January 2002. Less than 3 months into his term, he suffered a stroke. After surgery to remove a blood clot in his brain, Mokhtar fell into coma for a nearly year. He died on July 7, 2003 in Kuala Lumpur Hospital, aged 59. Thank you. So, on this slide, you can see the case that Tan Sri Datuk Sri Mokhtar bin Abdullah handled. Public prosecutor worked against Datuk Sri Haji Anwar bin Ibrahim. The Federal Court upheld opposition leader Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim 5-year prison sentence this afternoon at 2:05 p.m. The decision was made. Anwar was convicted guilty of sexually abusing his former staff by a federal court 7 years ago. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Atiqah Firzanah binti Rashidi. My matric number is DIL 211002. I'll be presenting on conclusion. The public prosecutor or attorney general must be impartial, fair and honest. He or she must be act on the directions of the judge. He or she should not believe in the conviction of the accused by hook or crook. The guiding principles of public prosecution must be equity, justice, and good conscience. Aside from administrative and legal matters, an attorney general is very powerful. It is very important to have an attorney general with extensive experience in the legal field. However, the attorney general power is often criticized of being in his most general jurisdiction, allowing him to abuse power. For example, if the government commits an offence, the Attorney General has the power to either prosecute the government or not. I thought logically the Attorney General is obliged to prosecute the government for wrongs committed. However, given that the Attorney General was appointed on the advice of the Prime Minister, there is bound to be a conflict of interest. The Attorney General, on the other hand, will try to avoid prosecuting the government or the PM, or pursue prosecution, which will eventually result in the Attorney General himself being fired. To prevent this from happening, the AG should be appointed by the Parliament.